these images take me back to those times in my life, and I think that that's why I did a whole photography show. This whole exhibition are moments in time and how I dealt with different issues. I can definitely see when I was putting together all the shows and pulling these images, I can see where the trauma happened and how I look before and after. And when you see it laid before you and see the pattern, I think that there's something so freeing, because once you see the pattern, you can hopefully break the pattern.
Oh yeah, this. Okay. Is that damaged enough? I know I'm damaged goods now.
I can't go back and change what happened to me. And I've met such amazing people as a result of this project, and have been able to heal and let go and find so many beautiful things in all my broken places. On this photo, there is a quote by Nelson Mandela. I think it's one of my very favorite quotes, and it says, "There can be no keener revelation of a society's soul than the way in which it treats its children." And I put the quote on the photo of me when I was 4. And this photo, I look so happy and full of life. And then shortly after this photo was taken, I was raped by our neighbor. And I always wonder what life would be like if we could just turn back the clock and erase that very first time. Studies have shown that a child who experiences trauma before the age of 7 can change their neural pathways in their brain, and it can affect so many things like their learning, their emotions, how they see the world. And I think that happening to me so young has definitely played a huge part in my self-esteem and why I've always felt like I was dumb at school. Parts of me wish that my family would have known what had happened to me, because they were so hard on me about my weight as a result of the sexual abuse. And I wonder if they would have had more empathy, if that would have impacted their horrible words. Not only did I have the sexual abuse, but I had terrible body image after that, because I was told I was fat and not good enough. And it's something that I'm still trying to break today. And I look at the photos in high school and I see this picture of me in this red dress. It's the smallest I've ever been, and it was the only time that my grandfather said that I was beautiful and that I was perfect. And I thought, yes, I had finally made it. But I was extremely bulimic at the time. And when I look at this picture of me when I'm painting, I just remember being so happy and put together and loving my body, and it was probably one of the happiest times in my life. And then not even 1 month later, I was raped. I gained 40 pounds. Lost my business, my health. And because it was somebody I knew, I was so ashamed, and I couldn't report it. At the time, I didn't feel like I could. From that rape, in the exhibition, the hovering image is a direct result from what happened from that rape. And when you're feeling in so much pain, it can actually be an outer body experience. And you rise above and your body is just numb. And it just makes me so sad, because sometimes I still escape there. Even if I'm not in danger, something triggers a smell, a movement. I think my greatest hope and wish is just to feel normal. When I look at the next photo of me, I was overseas, and I don't think I haven't felt that bad about myself in a very long time. When I look at this photo, I wish that I would have loved myself more before I even went into that room when I was sexually assaulted, because I think that I would have reacted different. I think that the one phrase I'm struggling with most, even in this show, is, "It's not your fault." Because it still feels like it was.
Oh, this is really the ugly cry.
I couldn't move. I was frozen. And I froze because he had said things to me and done things that were the same things done when I was a kid, the very first time. And being on that table, and when it was done, I never wanted to freeze again. And at that moment, I knew that I had to feel different about myself, and it was time to fight back.
I know how to do it in like the dance hall. I know how to do it in the
Getting ready.
I was so covered in shame that I didn't want anybody to know. There's definitely a theme. And it's so hard when people ask me, like, well, what did you do? Did you just kick his ass? And no. And that's why I don't want people to know my details, because so often you judge the victim or the survivor on their reaction or what they did or didn't do. And it's so individual based on our histories. And I wish that I would have done something different, but it just brings more shame when I talk about the details still. So that's why for this show, I just wanted to go through the feelings of what it was like to be so angry, to fight back. And that's why I started boxing. And through that, I had the courage to start finding my own voice. And since I was a little kid, I always looked for people to protect me. And the most important thing was I needed to protect myself. And I think through boxing and learning to protect myself, I no longer need those kind of relationships. I think learning to protect myself was one of the best things that I could have done for my own healing.
part of the side.
I love the
too.
dramatic part.
But anyways.
Oh, yes, we got
Okay.
it!
And then when I was feeling better about that, I joined an amazing sexual violence support group. I wanted to try something new because I needed support for this show specifically to kind of walk me through. And I found this incredible group of 4 women. We call ourselves C4 for Dynamite. Having people that have been abused as kids and having that in common has definitely helped give us a common ground. So I don't even need to say something. They know exactly how I'm feeling. And then our focus was not on the details of what happened to us, but on how it showed up in our lives. I think one of the most precious things that's come out of this show and doing this process was to see my C4 girls take tape off of their mouths and to see the impact that it had on them to break their own silence and know that we can never go back. The silence is broken.
Oh my gosh, it's so hard to tell your story. You guys are so brave. I'm still having such a hard time with mine.
Have I ever told you the story? Let's be honest.
Right.
Have I ever talked about it?
Mm-mm. It's like when you get a cut on your arm, and then, like, if you put a Band-Aid on it too much, then it just stays kind of open. And but if you eventually you have to let the air touch it. And you have to let it scab, and then you have to let the
That's a
scab turn
beautiful
into
picture.
a scar.
I'm ready to scar up. Move on. I can't wait to move on. Oh, group hug.
I know.
And then to regain our childlike innocence and dancing around this artist retreat center in these butterfly costumes and just seeing the joy on their faces, it was priceless and made this whole show worth it.
A step of faith through a broken heart. You chose love's healing ways. So now that you said your piece, and if those stones of ignorance get tossed, rise above the pain, above the loss, and we'll toss away that stone of grief.
Crossing over. This is your moment. Fresh start. Freedom. You are beautiful butterflies. No longer caterpillars. We've broken out of our shells. We're ready to break the silence. And each of you have picked your own wings, and they're yours. These are your wings, and put them on and fly. Love you, Lucas. The orange one is so perfect on you.
Yes,
Okay.
you lead us.
I'll leave you, and then I'll come back and get the stuff.
Should we go get this stuff first?
No. We'll just walk together.
We'll toss away that stone of grief.